Hello.
I love it. Anybody would have thought we'd paid for an audience to be here, but we're far too tight for that. They don't get paid for that. You should pay us. But there we go. Oh!
Every time
it's the Mixler thing. That's brilliant. We've just absolutely, completely northed that up. You know, I love that. That's like so retro. It used to happen every week in Putney Station when Lauren was there. I know. And actually, do you know what? We can't blame her for once. I feel a bit gutted by that. Move swiftly along to the fannies, of course. I'm Stanford Chidge. Welcome back to the show. You are, of course, watching the Chelsea FanCast. It's not a mistake. You haven't kind of warped into Wayne's World or something, because we haven't got long hair. That's how you would know. And we haven't done that bit. We should do that next week. What do you reckon? Can you do that? Go on, don't. See if you can do that.
I've never seen Wayne's World. I haven't seen it. I can do the long hair bit if you want. Give me a few more months.
How old? I'm going to have an age qualification for people to come on this show. Because if you've never heard of Wayne's World, I've
heard of it. I just haven't watched it. It just looks a bit
party
rubbish.
on, Chidge. Party on.
You are certainly not worthy, that is for sure. Right, let's get on with the blooming show. Okay, before we start with the Man of the Match award, I'm going to read out, just to show you the strength of feeling that is out there in the world of the Chelsea Fancast about what the nominations should be. But Francisco Picos, who has a brilliant name, posted Fanny's nominations: Man of the Match, John Mikel Obi; Guinness Moment, John Mikel Obi; for the goal, of course. Celery Moment, John Mikel Obi for the goal. I'm astonished by that. Steve Martinez, he also said Man of the Match was going for Oscar, but has to be Mikel. Celery, Mikel. Guinness, you guessed it, John Obi Mikel, up the Chelsea. So how about that? There's no pressure at all, I don't think. We are our own people. We can do what we want. Very, very quickly, I think the Man of the Match awards has to be first, and I think we have to start with Mikel by rights. Obviously, fair enough. That was fair enough, I think. I do actually think that Oscar deserves a shout. I thought he, again, put in a massive shift. He did actually do a cracking job of both trying to create chances. He scored the first goal. He was in the right place at the right time. And he did his tracking back as well. But I have to say, in spite of Mikel, and I know that Lizzie D is going to be showing me evils for saying this, but my man of the match, as was most of the people I was sitting around with in Gate 17, is Brana Ivanovic, who I'm going to rename Man of the Manovic. I've been waiting all weekend for that line. I mean, you could tell, couldn't you, Dan?
It's good. You should get that on your shirt.
I will. Man of the Manovic, yeah. Brana. For me, he gets Man of the Match because I just thought he was superb. But what do you reckon?
I was actually going to go for him as well. I am going to go for Brana Man of the Manovic as well. I thought he was brilliant attacking. He was probably actually one of my best attacking players.
Yeah, he was.
He stood out. I mean, in the first half, I'd have actually said Cahill, but the second half, Cahill didn't have much to do. Ivanovic.
I just love the fact that he gets stuck in. He's just proper Chelsea. He's nails, he kicks people, he cares, he would walk through a wall for that team. I love him. What do you reckon, Ross?
I'm going to go for Man of the Branovic. Or Bran of the Manovic.
Bran of the Manovic. You were close.
You got me tongue twisted.
I have.
Yeah. No, he was excellent. He constantly won battles.
That does quality.
Ivanovic.
I love him for that. There'll be more of that in a minute. I'll just tease that. So you're going to go for the Man of the Manovic being Brenner Ivanovic.
Yeah, exactly. He had two of the Fulham attackers, Kasami and Kalinic, or whatever his name is, under wraps. And he was getting forward as well. He was immense.
I think the three players you mentioned there, Mikel, Oscar and Ivanovic, have probably been our best three players so far this season. I think there have been a few who've been wanting. So I think if you were to do a Man of the Season, though it's very, very early, you pick from those three anyway.
You would, wouldn't you, actually?
Yeah, but I mean, Mikel, obviously, for the sentiment, for the goal, but he didn't have a great deal to do before that, and I'd go Ivanovic again.
Okay.
Who?
Ivanovic. Man of Ivanovic. Pablo?
Steady. We've got a couple on Twitter, Lizzie D and...
Who?
The one who usually sits on the bench.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Laughs. Yeah. She says Mikel, surprisingly.
Mikel lover. I love her for loving Mikel.
As does Norcal CFC, also says Man of the Match Mikel. For me, obviously, honourable mentions to Mikel. Oscar doesn't come close to me despite playing well for the number of god-awful front post corners that he put in. So, yeah, Absolutely, Branner.
Branner. So that's Ivanovic. Benches. Ivanovic. Keep it going, boys. Hang on. We got to move on, sadly. Right, chart of the match. I think you've almost had it there, actually, bless them. But you know what? There were a few good ones. We all follow the Chelsea. Got a nice old go in the Matthew Harding upper, certainly, and lower, as did Keep the Blue Flag Flying High. But let's just not make any pretence. It has got to be one of the Mikel chants this week. And there were two that stood out. I will say them both, but I'll give you a clue, people out there listening and the benches. One of them has to be banned on the principle that it is a Sloop John B song, and we on this show are modern football against Sloop John
Say no
B
to
songs.
Sloop.
Say no to slurring. Say no to Sloop John B.
Oh, you go right.
Yeah, ta-ta. Be careful. But anyway, you know, it was he scores when he wants. He scores when he wants. John Obi, Mikel, although they got a bit confused with the
didn't quite go, did it?
scanning there. But my favourite was. Have you ever seen Obi score a goal? Have you ever seen Obi score a goal? Have you ever seen Obi? Ever seen Obi? Ever seen Obi score a goal? Yes, we have.
Apart from Pablo.
Apart from Pablo.
I thought you said you were in the half-time thing. No. Or was it that told me that? I thought so. Sorry, I thought it was you.
There were, you know what? I didn't reveal this earlier, but there were a few people who are still yet to see Obi score a goal because I saw some very famous people in Gate 17 sneaking out. Oh yeah, I won't reveal it because I'm far too much of a gentleman. But he's a great mate. But I saw him leave, and then Mikel scored, and I roared with laughter. And I saw a few tweets from people I know. Celia Middleton went out for a pee or something, and missed Mikel's score. So
there was a former, very, very short-term Chelsea manager who left the ground.
A former, very short Chelsea manager? Or
quite short as well. Who moved sideways but stayed on his feet as he left and didn't see Mikel score.
Would that be Ray Wilkins?
Hey!
I got that, didn't I? Do I get a prize for knowing that he was moving like a crab?
No.
I said crab.
Okay.
Yeah. I love Ray Wilkins. I would like Ray to come on the show actually one day. He would be very interesting to talk to. I think it's safe to say. Have we got any kind of resistance out there from the land of Twitter?
No, everyone's mentioned Mikel. There was one other Mikel charm, which was "We were there when Obi scored," which is probably worth a little bit.
We were there when Obi scored.
Yeah.
It's got to be. I love that one.
Better than the Sloop John B one anyway, so it's at least second place this week.
Talking of your actual chants, we would obviously very much like to. You to send in clips because it'd be very nice to hear them. Although there's a bit of a debate going on about whether I can actually nick stuff off YouTube or film it myself in the ground and include it because that could be quite difficult. So maybe stuff in the pub. If you hear a few chants in the pub, get on your phone, film it for us, send it in, and we'll have a look.
Couldn't you do audio recordings in the ground? Without the camera.
Well, maybe I can do that. Maybe that's the way round. We do a bit of an audio, and we'll make a little graphic of you dancing or something.
Yeah,
or miming it. We get you to mime it, Ross. What do you reckon? Here's what we did earlier. But anyway, I mean, the thing is, I would love your videos. It's definitely from the pub before and after. Think celery moments.
Football videos here.
Football videos. No. There are other kinds of videos, but we don't want those.
No home videos.
Keep it clean, Ross. But yeah, pub, celery moment, charm of the match, that kind of thing. If they're funny, send them in. You need to send them in, or at least tell me about it on chelseafancast@gmail.com. Okay, and then we'll work out how we can get your 300 megabyte file into the system. But if you want an idea of what kind of video we're talking about, have a look at this, which we filmed in a pub which I cannot mention. We have just won the Europa Cup. That's all I'm saying as an apology. Whoa! I tell you, I was like right back there for a minute. You know, I mean, you see, you could have been in Amsterdam watching us win the Europa Cup, or you could have been in the pub that I was in. It'd be much better. As you
I was quite happy being in Amsterdam. Thanks very much.
Basically, Dan, you know, that is what happens when A, Chelsea win the European Cup, or B, you drink 15 pints of strong lager. I think B is the correct answer.
Or C, Chelsea win the Europa League.
Europa Cup. It's a cup.
You said European Cup still.
Europa. I'm still fixated on the European Cup. We won the Europa Cup. Sorry, Darren. Sorry, Rain Man. You've corrected me. But that was a great video. I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy that? That was great fun. You've probably never seen that before.
I haven't seen it before, but obviously Walter does steal the show in that. He does.
I would have thought you would have been particularly pleased, Darren, it being that you have now seen video evidence that there is actually somebody, a Chelsea supporter in the world, who sings worse than you do.
There's actually, I think, maybe 2 of them.
Who's the second one then? You're not accusing Walter. Oh, benches was absolutely.
Well, he was like all over the place.
I know, but he had a lot to drink that day. He was.
Where were you in the video? Were you taking?
I was
the video?
filming it.
Right.
I was amazing.
You didn't turn it around on
Can you
yourself.
tell how chonky the camera was, man?
I thought it had high production values.
Yes, almost as high as this show, in fact, Dan. As you can see. Enough. On with the show. On with the show. That was anyway. Look, send us videos in a bit like that. That would be fantastic, and we will try and run them on the show. But get in touch with us on the email address, as you know now. Talking of lots of drinking, Guinness moment is up next. My nominations are as follows. This just made me laugh so much because after Mikel did that 55, that shot on 55 minutes that scuttled past the post, he then was clearly so excited and confident that he did a Rabona. He did a Rabona 30-yard pass. Hazard giving Kieran Richardson twisted blood. Torres' header because I thought it was great. And I wonder what might win. The Mikel goal, obviously. So over to you, Darren.
I really don't like this, Chidge, but I'm going to have to go with the same as you again, the Mikel goal.
I didn't. Who said I voted for the Mikel goal?
You said it'd have to be the Mikel goal.
It'll have to be the Mikel goal. Okay, Mikel goal. We've got to be quite quick because we've got to fit the old salaries into.
Goal, fine.
Mikel goal.
Did Mikel goal, and maybe again in 6 years' time.
Yes.
Or maybe White Hart Lane.
Or 3 weeks' time.
McAlealy's second goal was at White Hart Lane and he's a defensive midfielder. Maybe Mikel score again at White Hart Lane.
Mikel goal?
I'm going to go for, the Mikel goal.
All right, I think fair enough. I mean, to be honest, actually, it was actually a really well taken goal, to be fair. I mean, it wasn't, it didn't come off his rear end or anything. It was a proper goal. So, fair enough. I think we'll keep the people happy. It is the Mikel goal. Just tell me if they're happy.
Rob Dog J's happy. He said Mikel only scores for Jose.
Okay. Yeah.
Very nicely put.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, on with the fannies. Our last bit, of course, is the celery moment. And I've got some cracking ones here. Okay, we've got. You remember? I don't know if you know Wayne, little Wayne, who's benches his mate from Aberdeen.
Scottish guy. He was at a FanCast party.
He was. Lovely lad. Well, benches had got him a ticket for Gate 17, and they had been in the pub since 12.
5:30 kickoff.
Right, benches sits behind me in the back row. You know where I sit.
Yeah, of course I do.
And there's a space there. So he said, Wayne, come and sit with me. So Wayne, who's quite short and walks a bit funny, had to kind of like clamber over the seats, to get up to where Paul was sitting, and had been in the pub with Paul since 12 o'clock. He made it all the way up what was for him Everest until he got to the last row. And he managed to try and climb over this. I might have to actually try and demonstrate this. This is really bad TV, but I'm going to do it. He's like, this is the seat, and he starts climbing over it like that, and he just basically went head over heels.
Well, but it shouldn't clip the top. And
he went head over heels over the seat, and he's like, crumpled in it. And I just wish I'd taken a photograph of it. It was just too funny. So there's that for starters. Oscar takes 2 corners within 5 minutes and fails to beat the first man. Not a surprise, apart from the fact that first man is possibly the smallest man in football. It was Damien Duff. How can you take a corner and not get it over Damien Duff? That was celery, pure celery. Third one, Ramirez gets the ball fed to him, and it's a bit too long for him, and he's kind of running towards the edge of the penalty area, and he's about to try and cross it, and then he completely slipped up and ended up on his arse. Joe Tweed's sitting next to me absolutely lost it. I mean, I've never seen somebody laugh. He had tears in his eyes. I don't know why. He was just in hysterics. And that made me laugh. And of course, finally, the player and crowd reaction to Mikel scoring the goal. Those would be the nominations. Ross, what would you like?
Yeah, those are all good. I like your story.
That's
It
good.
was
Nice.
nice.
Wayne,
Nice.
round of applause for Wayne, by the way. Benches, I think, should give Wayne a load of applause too, although he hasn't won it yet. Let's not preempt that. Ross.
2 other honourable mentions. In the first half, we had a free kick about 30 yards out or something, and Branner spent the entire time standing offside directly in front of Stockdale, the Fulham keeper. And every time the Fulham keeper kept moving back and forth between his posts, he kept walking in front of him. And then just as the free kick was about to be taken, he ran back into an onside position. That made me chuckle.
Love it.
And I also liked the applause for Damien Duff. When he took a corner.
That's good. I like that. Yeah, I like that. So what are you going to go for?
But I think you know what I'm going for.
Was it Mikel goal celebration?
It is,
and everything?
yeah. And it's quite a cool celebration as well.
JT's face.
Didn't panic.
Some of the photos that were going around, JT's face was just like us. I mean, that's the great thing about it, isn't it? With JT and all of that, it was like he looked like we did. It was like.
It wasn't just JT, it was half the squad, wasn't it? Half the team was standing
Jumping
there,
on it.
just also creasing up. They're all corpsing with laughter.
I know,
And
laughter and delight. It was just like we were, though. That's the great thing about it.
Well, they've obviously been taking the mick out of him for 6 years.
You know what, Dan? I reckon that they do what we do on the show every week. They go, at the end of the team meeting, JT will go, and finally, John Obi Mikel, or John Mikel Obi, has not scored a goal in his last 259 games for Chelsea. And they all sit there going...
Do you think maybe that Jose plays that Chadder's little stat
Maybe
over the end of his team talks?
I reckon he does, mate. I reckon he does. Okay.
Not anymore.
We've got to move on very quickly, but you're going for Mikel's goal. You're going for Mikel's goal. I'm going for Mikel's goal. Darren?
I'm going to go for Mikel's goal, but just an honourable mention. So we were drinking afterwards, me, Motherway, his mate Dave.
Yes.
And we went, in the end, we left Brogan's about, gone midnight, I don't know exactly what time, but we went to the Chelsea hotel just for one more. And Bobby Tambling was still up drinking. He was there till about 1:30 in the morning drinking, so I was just very surprised.
Brogan's?
In the shed, in the Millennium Hotel, what it's called now.
Copthorne
Hotel, yeah. So I was just surprised to see Tambling still up at that time drinking.
How fantastic. Right, we've got about 50...
I'm going for Mikel.
Paul, 50 seconds.
I like the appreciation for Duff a lot, actually, but I'm still going to have to go for the Mikel.
You're going to go for the Mikel
like everyone
goal?
else, yeah.
Again, I presume everybody on Mixlr and Twitter would be happy with that decision. It's pretty unanimous.
Duff got clapped when he got subbed as well.
Yeah. It's unlike us to be so...
reception.
Benches, are you happy with the Mikel goal?
Yeah, I just want a little honourable mention to see Bobby Tambling actually walking again around the pitch rather than...
Fair shout.
Well said.
Fair shout. But I think it is Mikel. Mikel, you get our salary moment. So I think that gives him 2, I think. 3. Hat-trick.
Mikel hat-trick.
Mikel hat-trick. I don't believe it. Well done, Mikel. Now, okay, after the break, we are going to be looking back at the Basel game last Wednesday. And we're also, a big serious discussion, we're going to be asking, what is the matter with Matter?
One man went to blow, went to blow.